Okay, this is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions out of Manning, South Carolina. Sincerely thanking everyone for tuning in to this installment of the 19 Report. If you have not seen it yet, on our front page, we have a new segment of the 19 podcast that will be on, God willing, from every day of the week, actually, from 6 to 7 p.m. If you would like to link up with us on that particular stream, you can go directly to our webpage, that is the19report.com. Or if you would like to be a call-in guest or a co-host of the show, you can link up with us on Google Plus, that is groove19promotions at gmail.com. Again, that's groove19promotions at gmail.com. If you are connected with us on Twitter, I would hope that you would share the link. I have posted up a link, and the link will be, you can play this stream live in your Twitter account. Also, you can play the stream live in your Gmail account as well as your Tumblr account if you have one. Today, I wanted to discuss something that I was holding off on for a little bit. I was just trying to see where it was going, but I'm seeing more and more of the articles about Dr. Martin Luther King, and the more that they post these articles, the more raunchy it seems that the articles are becoming. And if there's anything that you know about the way the system works, if they tell everything about you, they figure they have enough to tell on you that will make the people turn against you, like they did with Mayor Barry, and the people didn't turn against him when they caught him on film in the hotel smoking crack cocaine. That is character assassination. And what character assassination does is, whether you are alive or you're dead, character assassination takes away the person that you lived to be, the person that you presented to the people, regardless as to how much great things that you have done, may have planned to do. Character assassination takes the attention away from your accomplishments and puts the attention on your shortcomings. In a lot of cases, character assassination, it brings out the true essence of a person. They are doing something they shouldn't be doing, and when someone points that out and have proof of that, well, then that will give the authorities time to investigate it to see if it's true, if it's not true. In a situation where you are molesting children, where you are terrorizing your congregation in order to keep them in line, but when you're on in the public eye, you appear to be this great holier than thou person. When that is brought out, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that is a good thing. But what is concerning me now is that we have very few black people in our past that have a name that could be carried on from generation to generation, that our children can say, I would like to be like that. Well, everything about that person you may not want to be. But the essence of that person, the part of that person that attracts your attention, if you desire to be that, then you have to understand how to separate what the person did from who the person is. I want to make that very, very clear. Character assassination takes away absolutely everything about an individual. And lately, for the last month or so, I've been seeing constant articles about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I want to put something on the table now, because I am without a doubt that this will come out very soon, because this is designed to destroy anything of blackness that we believe was good. If you take Dr. Martin Luther King and you utilize his I Have a Dream speech, and that is all that you use, then you tell the people that Dr. King was one-sided in his views. He believes that everyone could get along. His dream was for everyone to live in harmony together, where little black boys, little white boys. Well, that is a good dream. But that dream does not become a reality until the people's mind change and begin to manifest the reality of what Dr. King said he dreamed about. Later on in a speech, Dr. King said his dream had become a nightmare. Now, many of us don't know about that particular speech because that would cause you to think again about all of this unity that we desire. Dr. King, in his March on Washington, solicited the help of many different people. Dr. King began to become very politically astute. He understood politics well. He understood that the war in Vietnam had nothing to do with the struggle of black people in America. So he advised people to take the route of Muhammad Ali and say that you are not going to go to war because the war had nothing to do with you. Well, if you know anything about church and state and the separation between the two, then you know that for a preacher to talk about politics or talk about foreign policy or talk about anything of that nature is against the rules. Dr. King, being a political figure, being a black activist, and he worked with white people, he worked with different people as well. One person in particular that he worked with was a gentleman called, his name is Bayard Rustin. Now, Bayard Rustin, a very, very intelligent black man who is black and is gay. Bayard Rustin was arrested for a homosexual act in 1953 that carried with him all of his life. So Bayard Rustin stayed out of the spotlight. He worked behind the scenes to make things happen because he was very good at doing that. And it is not until 2003 in this country that a person would not be arrested for committing a homosexual act. This is just being brought into law. A lot thanks to Bayard Rustin and his fight for gay rights, for human rights. Dr. Martin Luther King, like any other black activist, the Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam, all of these people had bugs all throughout their homes, throughout their hotels, throughout any place that they traveled, their cars, they were being listened to. Dr. Martin Luther King was recorded having extramarital affairs. Dr. Martin Luther King was recorded, allegedly, I believe that is true, in fact, I know that it is, was recorded having homosexual affairs. When he began to speak out against certain things that certain people thought he shouldn't talk about, the government leaked a letter, the FBI sent a letter to Dr. King, and that letter was very explicit. We have this on you. We know that you did this. We know that you were with this person, and this person. And I want to read a piece of that letter for you. And then I want to get into why we have to begin to understand how the system works, because there are not many black people left for us to trust and believe in. And when we don't believe in any more blackness, then we'll be pitched somebody white. See, they pitched us Kim Kardashian. And they modified her butt, they modified her lips. They said, this is the new black. The picture that she just took on the front of Paper magazine, that's not the first picture that was taken just like that. The first person that took that picture was a black woman. And it was like a pun of how big the black woman's behind was, that it could hold a wine glass on it, about how her hair was sticking up and semen being in her hair and people get their hair stuck, in that black women were just sexual animals, party animals. And she's holding a glass of wine in her hand, and the cork pops off the wine, which indicates an orgasm, and the wine is going all the way over her head into a glass that's being held by her behind. Kim Kardashian redoes this same photograph, but she's white. So the establishment is saying you don't even have to go to black women to get this fine behind, these big lips, this party girl. And then Kim Kardashian's sister puts up on Instagram, we are the only KKK that black men are allowed to enter. Kim Kardashian herself admits that she has no connection with black men or the black struggle. She just loves black men. She was born rich with money. They did the same thing with Izzy Azali, this white Canadian rapper with the big lips. She ain't saying nothing. How does she get to be the number one top rapper? How does Eminem get to be the number one top rapper? All of these white people being replacing blackness, and it's our fault. We sell everything. We sell it to the highest bidder. We sell it for the dollar, and then we say, I'm a man, but how can you be a man when the first person comes along, you take the deal and sell out your people? So they tried to destroy Marion Barry. They tried to destroy many other leaders, and they destroyed some of them. They destroyed Marcus Garvey, the great Marcus Garvey, after all the work he did, and he was taking the people back to Africa. They destroyed him. In other words, the story in Scripture is true. Pharaoh is not going to let us go, rather we leave or rather we stay. So what is happening with Dr. Martin Luther King? I want to read this, and I'm not going to read the explicit parts, but I'm going to read you what they sent him in a letter. King, in quotations, like all frauds, your end is approaching. You could have been our greatest leader, meaning white people's greatest leader. You, even at an early age, turned out to be not a leader, but a dissolute, abnormal, moral, and imbecile. Your honorary degrees, your Nobel Prize, what a grim farce, and other awards will not save you. I repeat, you are done. No person can overcome facts, not even a fraud like yourself. They are threatening him to reveal the audio tapes of him having sexual liaisons with men, with women, or with whomever else. They're threatening him to reveal these things if he does not step down. I repeat, no person can argue successfully against facts. Satan could not do more. What incredible evilness. You are done. Then it goes on to say, Dr. King, you know what you must do. Now, Dr. King says, after reading this, I know who sent the letter. They want me to kill myself. But he refused to kill himself. In other words, if you have information on me, put it out there. And let's see what the people say about what you have. He didn't back down. He died. Assassinated. Bayard Rustin, the gentleman who helped with the March on Washington, was also a gay advocate, and about 55 to 65% of the white people who were marching on the March on Washington were marching for gay rights. They were gay, but the numbers made it look bigger than what it was. And I want to read you a little something about Bayard Rustin and how Adam Clayton Powell threatened to put out to the public about his lifestyle and that he and Dr. King were having a illicit affair. Whether it is true or not true, this is not what I'm arguing, but this is my preparing you by God's permission for what I believe is coming down the line. The second assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that is character assassination. Rustin, I'm reading in quotes now. Rustin experienced one of the lowest points in his career in 1960, and the author of this crisis wasn't J. Edgar Hoover. It was another black leader, Representative Allen Clayton Powell, Jr. of New York, angry that Rustin and King were planning a march outside of the Democratic National Convention in Los Angeles, warned King that if he did not drop Rustin, Powell would tell the press King and Rustin were gay lovers, regardless of the fact that Powell had concocted the charge for his own malicious reason. King, in one of his weakest moments, called off the march and put distance between himself and Rustin. This is information that is, it's right out there for you. You can get it with the freedom request for the Freedom of Information Act, that you can get government papers that you can read. They black out some of the information, but a lot of it you are allowed to read. My fear is this. We give up everything. We turn our back on blackness. We learn how to hate blackness. In fact, we will be having a commentary on the back of the $2 bill. There is a black man on that bill, And if it pleases Almighty God Allah, I'm going to tell you what he's there for. If it doesn't please Allah, I won't tell you. If you don't ever hear it, then you know I'm not supposed to talk about it. But if it is the case, I will talk about it. But I will tell you this. The new elite, the new slave master, the new overseer is the word I'm looking for, will be black people. Black people who may have fought the black cause because they desired to be noticed and at the top. But the moment they got a chance to sit down at the table with other people, they did not hesitate to abandon the cause and sit at the table with those who they claimed they disliked in the beginning, and use wordplay in order to make you think that they are still with the struggle, but they are indeed those who are sent to keep you calm, keep you thinking that everything is okay, keep you thinking that everyone is equal. And I'm telling you straight out of my mouth, there is no equality when one person knows their lineage, their history, and the other person only knows what somebody else told them. We have no desire to learn about ourselves. This has nothing to do with racism. Scratch that off of your list of things that you can say that I am, because a black man in this country cannot be racist. We do not have the power and control to do that. This is a heads up, if you will, that the last man standing, the last of our civil rights leaders will be their character will be assassinated. Now, I want to play something for you that was on Ice Cube's Barbershop 2, where the character assassination actually begins to trickle in a little bit at a time. And this movie came out in 2002. But in it, Cedric the Entertainer is a barber, and he's saying Rosa Parks didn't do nothing but sit down. And he said, F Jesse Jackson. And, you know, in other movies, they talk about how Martin Luther King didn't do this and didn't do that. They're not going to put it all on you at one time. It is a gradual, subliminal massaging of the mind, the subconscious mind, to make you think that everything black is a lie. You can't trust black people. Well, and nobody's going to be 100% up with you, because nobody can be. There's a limit to anything. There's a limit to what Tyler Perry can put out. He tells a lot of truth, but he has to tell it in drag. He has to tell it with a dress on. There's a limit to what a comedian can say. They destroyed Cat Williams because he told about their private parties. They didn't kill him. They just made it sure that he did not get a job in the arena which they control. And when I say they, I'm not talking about a particular group of people. Everybody trying to get control. Everybody is trying to take control of their piece of this great country. And it is a great country. But it has impediments that God disagrees with. And when God disagrees with it, if you say you are with God and you can't talk God, you got to show that you are with God and open your mouth no matter what the cost and say what needs to be said. We're talking about the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. I want to play this clip for you. It's 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And I want you to listen to, they're in the barbershop, and this is where this conversation goes on. But listen to the talk of Cedric the Entertainer, Ice Cube, and other people in the barbershop. But listen to what you will remember of this conversation, and then I'll be right back.
Now, I probably wouldn't say this in front of white folk, but in front of y'all, I'm gonna speak my mind. Rosa Parks ain't do nothing but sit her black ass down. Hold on now, Seinfeld. You might learn something right now. I'm gonna give her a just due. I'm gonna give her a just due for what she did. Her act led to the movement and everything. But she damn sure ain't special. No, it was a whole lot of black folk sat down on bus and they got thrown in jail, and they did it way before Rosa did. And they did it way before Rosa. Only difference between them and her is that she was secretary at the NAACP, and she knew Martin Luther King, and they got a lot of publicity. That's all I have to say what.
To me, it sounds like you got a little haterism in your game.
Well, Kevin, no, this ain't no hateration or no holleration in this dancery, okay? What I'm saying is that black people need to stop lying.
Say something.
It's three things that black people need to tell the truth about.
What?
One, Rodney King should have got his ass beat for driving drunk and being grown in a Hyundai. Two, OJ did it. And three, Rosa Parks ain't do nothing but sit her black ass down. That's right, I said it.
Hey, I'm gonna back you up on that, cause see, look, he was on the bus back in the day, and he on the bus now.
Eddie, not only is what you're saying not true, it is wrong and disrespectful for you to discuss Rosa Parks in that way.
Exactly.
Wait. Hold on here. Is this the barbershop? Is this the barbershop?
Yes, it's shop.
It's the barbershop. But, I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation. That's all.
You gotta tell Rosa Parks down.
It ain't nobody exempt in the barbershop. You know that. Ain't nobody exempt. You can talk about whoever and whatever, whenever you want to in the barbershop.
Why you gotta tear Rosa down like this, Eddie? You know you're wrong. Keep on walking. You wrong. You walking by yourself this time, pal. I ain't with you. I'll tell you one thing. You better never let Jesse Jackson hear you talking about later.
Man, fuck Jesse Jackson.
Okay, we are back. I didn't even want to play the rest of that, but not only did he talk about Rosa Parks, but he also talked about Rodney King deserving to being beat for being drunk in a Hyundai, and people agreed with that. And now, this happened in 2002. Now in 2014, black boys, black women being gunned down for no other reason but being black. When you begin to make comedy out of things like this, see, comedy is what puts into your and my mind, that entertainment-based stuff puts in your and my mind that we did nothing in the struggle. So the attack has always been on Dr. King. The attack will, I believe, be the last gauntlet that will be dropped on Dr. King, is revealing the transcripts of his life, his sexual life. Many people know about it already, but most people do not. I would pray that it is not a shock when it comes out. This is not the same as Eddie Long. Okay, this is not the same as, so you can't put these two in the same category. You could, but I would advise you not to. You have to look at the greatness of the person. What have they done to further the cause of our struggle, not only as black people, but Dr. King was fighting for human rights. And gays to this day, homosexuals or transsexuals, the TBGYN community or TBGYT community, benefit from the struggle of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so much so that black men and black and white men are wearing shirts that say gay is the new black. Why would they even come up with that slogan? Because they were in the march fighting for the same cause, but gays were never put in slavery. Gays were never beaten and taken from their mothers and fathers and sold at an early age. Gays were never forced to sleep with their mother and father in order to produce a stock of slave that could work the field. Gays were never tied to 4 horses and the horses beaten and taken into 4 different directions and ripping the person apart. The gay male has never been strung up and beaten in front of his children so that his children would never feel the courage to stand up against the slave master. Gays have never been hung upside down and their stomachs cut open and babies stomped in the head and killed right on the spot. Gays' ears and nose and private parts have never been sold in stores, so you can't compare the two. You can fight your battle if you want to. This is to all gays, homosexuals, whatever you choose to be called. That's your business. If you're old enough to do it, fine. But if you're taking babies and you are treating them like treating a male like a female should be treated, if you are molesting these children, then that's a problem. And if God says to do something about it and point out the person who's doing it, then something has to be done about it. Don't ever compare yourself. White, gay, lesbian, transsexual, transgender, I don't give a hoot to the struggle that black people went through in this country and continue to go through psychologically in this country. You could never fathom what we went through. You could never fathom what the black man myself still goes through internally and spiritually, knowing that you are not free to do what you want, say what you want without someone trying to destroy your whole life, threaten your family, destroy your image. This is not you, homosexual. You just want to do something contrary to God and make it right in man's eyes. If that's the case, do it. All things will come to the light. But do not destroy the image, the mind, the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or any of those who fought in the struggle for some piece of liberation or what we have today. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions out of Manning, South Carolina, and you are listening to the 19 Report. And I really wanted to play another clip, but I couldn't find it. But I will caution you to this. Anything that is of importance to us will be degraded for the dollar. Every person that is put in front of you is someone who will keep you calm and peaceful and never think about the black struggle again. Meanwhile, your and my children are dying psychologically. You and I don't even get upset that in 2014 our children don't even know what real food tastes like. Everything is manufactured and modified. Nothing is real anymore. Butter, grits, corn, rice, everything. Our children are being artificially intelligent fed. So we got a generation of children who could care less what their parents say because they are already indoctrinated into thinking that we're stupid. They know more than us and they have more courage than us. So they stand up to more than we do and they look at us like nothing. And I'm praying that we don't look at the work of Dr. King as nothing, because there is much more to Dr. King than just the I Have a Dream speech. He fought. He went to jail. He stood up to mobs of people. And more importantly, he stood up to the fact that he knew they had this information on him. But he said, do with it what you will. I'm going to keep on doing what I know I have to do. While in the struggle became a part of the man and he became great. But there were those around him who wanted his position and who didn't waste any time trying to get it. If you have an opportunity, if you have Netflix, if not, get Netflix. If not, go to Walmart or one of these video stands and get Spies of Mississippi. And in Spies of Mississippi, the preachers or the highfalutin elitist preachers who thought they were better than the rest of the blacks, who didn't want anything to change because they were doing so well in society, who knew their place, who wouldn't ask for no more than what they were given, felt that it was their duty to go to black organization, black meetings, and be the spook that sat by the door. Sit in the meeting, hear all about the meeting, take notes, and take it back to the establishment. They would go outside and write down license tags number of all the people who attend these meetings. And it is a recorded fact that the great Medgar Evers, who was shot down in his driveway, coming home to his wife and children, it is because of these spies, these snitches, these undercover elitists who felt that they should be better than the average black person, who told on him. And they knew where to find him, and they killed him. The three men who died, 2 white men and 1 black man, who came from New York, I think, to help with the struggle, and later found their car with their bodies in it, buried in a junction of sorts. These men were sold out by these elitists. And today we have these same elitists who think that black people in general are garbage. And black people think that they're garbage. How else will you let someone tell you nothing because you don't have what they have, but you still buy their products? That's what we do with Jay-Z and Beyonce. They tell us that you're beneath me, but you still buy. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked the question, why do we love the devil? And the answer, Master Farad Muhammad asked the question, why do we love the devil? And the answer was, because he gives us nothing. Why else do you love Rick Ross, who lied about his whole life? Stole his name from the original Freeway Ricky Ross, the drug dealer. Stole his persona, used clips of the arrest of the original Rick Ross. Rick Ross takes him to court, and the court says he can use your name, your persona, and make money off of your life. I asked someone one day, how could you listen to someone you know that is lying to you? And his response was, because he can rap. So any place we get entertainment, we lose our mind. What is this? Russell Simmons just did a video clip with Harriet Tubman. In the clip with Harriet Tubman, he's making a pun about her life. She is in the bed with a white man, having relations with a white man, and she is getting secrets from the white man by sleeping with him, and there's a black man in the closet playing the buffoon. He saw nothing wrong with that. But that is affecting the minds of the young people who see it, who don't know nothing about blackness. So this is from me, Brother Johnny, at the 19 Report, and I sincerely hope that it benefits, first of all, the adults who can take the information and tell it to your children so that they can get it from you, so that it doesn't come through media outlets, and when the gauntlet is dropped, what this is intended to do is to make us not believe that there's anything of good that comes from blackness. But this country was built on the back of black people. This is nothing secretive. This is in your history book. And even after the signing of the Bill of Rights and the Constitutions and the Declaration of Independence, none of that had black people's interests in mind. We never got our 40 acres and a mule. We never will get that 40 acres and a mule, but we got a black president, and we got black billionaires, and we got black millionaires, and white folks are saying, you ought to be glad that we brought you savages out of Africa. Well, guess what? We weren't savages in Africa, because if we were savages, then white folks wouldn't be over there trying to take over the country. See, Idi Amin told white folks, you got a certain amount of time to get out of our country. They were living La Vida Loca and still are living La Vida Loca. We got to talk honest now. Somebody is going to bring this up and say Johnny is a racist, or Johnny he don't like white people. That's a lie. And anybody can tell you that that's a lie based on the things that I say. But anytime you bring out truth about a thing, then you got to be a hater, unless you are what is the guy name off of CNN? They can say whatever they want to say, and it's all right. But if we say it, it's a problem. And I'm going to say this, and then we're going to close. We have taken the internet, which has been a blessing and a curse, and we have used the internet for buffoonery on Facebook, on Twitter. We just foolishness all day, every day. Most of us aren't aware that just a few days ago, the FCC was about to change the internet in the way that it is presented to us today. Anybody that streams anything over the internet for a certain amount of time not only would have to pay internet charges, but would have to pay charges to stream on the internet. Not only that, but what you say would be censored. President Obama spoke out against it, which was good in my opinion, that he disagreed with the freedom of speech. But you can rest assured that anytime something like this comes to the light, it will be back. So we don't have a lot of time to tell truth. And we don't have a lot of time to take this wonderful thing called internet and teach our children the truth about our history. We have to do it now. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions again, and if you would like to be a guest commentator on the show, we can beam you through Skype. That's another wonderful thing. Or you can call in through Google Plus, and you will be live on the show. Is another wonderful thing. But we have to begin to be realistic and get a little bit of courage, a little bit. And if we say we believe in Jesus as much as we believe, then we should have at least a little bit of courage to stand up and say to our children, this is your history. This is what happened. This is how this country was built. Look, white folks are saying it. White folks wrote the history book, and white folks are saying if it were not for slavery, South Carolina wouldn't be the country that it is. But we have an elite black group who think they are better. The Hindus are here, and the Hindus are coming stronger because Governor Nikki Haley, I just read an article, and she's dressed down with her head covering on, and she's opening up the market for more Hindus, Indians to come over and open up shop. And if you ever been in a store where Indian is, you know they could care less about us. They talk our lingo, they talk our slang, but they take our money. And if it weren't for businesses in town that were getting their money from Medicare and Medicaid, they would make no money because black folks don't frequent black business. This is the struggle and the fight of Dr. King that stays alive, and this is what we have to begin to tell our children. Again, this is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions, Manning, South Carolina, thanking everybody for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, again, I will post this up on our YouTube site sometime later, but I wanted to get this out. And I wanted to get it out now because it was just kind of had butterflies in my stomach. I didn't know whether I should say it or not say it, but the life of Dr. King may come out at any time, and it may come out in a joking way, or it may come out in a serious way, but whatever way it comes out, we always misinterpret things. It's like the great Bill Cosby, who condemned black people, but he condemned a little too much. And now the truth of his infidelities are coming to the light. You should have said we as a people, as opposed to just the black youth and black people. And that is the part of the elitist black community that make them think that they are untouchable. You always touchable because you're under control, just as those below you are under control, but they're just ignorant. They don't think that they're better than anybody else. Brother Johnny, Groove 19 Promotions, thanking everyone for tuning in.
19.